Luis Alfredo Garavito Cubillos, known as La Bestia, the Beast, or Tribilín, the Goofy, was the most notorious serial killer in Colombia's history. He confessed to killing at least 138 children in the 1990s, most of whom were boys from poor families. His story is not only about a criminal, but also about a society plagued by poverty, violence, and the lack of child protection. In this article, we will narrate the detailed story of Garavito's life. Luis Alfredo Garavito Cubillos was born on January 5, 1957, in a small town of Genoa, Colombia. He was the eldest among 7 siblings. His family suffered from extreme poverty, and the home environment was extremely harsh. His father is described as an alcoholic and a violent man who often raised his hand against his wife and children. Garavito later said in his interviews that his childhood was filled with fights and insults. He said, "I had the misfortune of being born into a family that was always fighting, always insulting each other with harsh words." Garavito's education was also affected. He studied at Simón Bolívar School, where he was nicknamed Garabato, scratch or scribble, because of his glasses. In school, children used to bully him, and he often preferred to stay in solitude. His academic performance was also weak. In 1968, when he was in 5th grade, his father pulled him out of school so that he could support the family financially. His father's order was that he should stay away from girls and focus only on earning money. This was the time when more misery began in Garavito's life. In 1969, during a vaccination, Garavito claimed that a pharmacist, who was a friend of his father, sexually abused him. This person bit him, burned him, and cut him. This claim was later considered doubtful by psychiatrists, but Garavito said that this incident deeply affected him. After that, he began killing birds and cutting them, which was a sign of his growing aggression. He also started harassing his younger brothers. And in 1969, he attempted to abuse a 6-year-old boy. Family and friends noticed that he had become lonely, aggressive, and ready to take revenge on the world. In 1971, the family moved to Trujillo. Garavito hid his experiences from the family because he believed no one would believe him. Soon a neighbor showed him pornographic material and abused him. He also beat him. Under the influence of the family, Garavito started drinking alcohol. In 1972, he attempted sexual assaults on local women, which failed, and his mother threw him out of the house when he tried to abuse a 5-year-old boy. In 1973, at the Bogotá train station, he was detained for attempting to assault a 6-year-old boy, but he explained that he only wanted to lightly abuse him. His father scolded him for not choosing a woman. Conflicts with the family increased, and finally, he was expelled from the house because of homosexual behavior. These childhood and teenage experiences left deep effects on Garavito's psychology. Experts believe that this violence and abuse became the foundation of his later criminal activities. In a country like Colombia, where poverty and domestic violence were common, such children often lived on the margins of society. Garavito's story shows how childhood violence can destroy a person. In his youth, Garavito worked different jobs. He was an assistant in a compensation fund, then in a store chain. But his behavior caused problems. He fought with customers, colleagues, and bosses, which led him to be fired. He also worked as a street vendor, selling religious items, and became a migrant worker. During this time, he formed platonic relationships with elderly women. In Trujillo, he fell in love with a school teacher, Luz Mario Campo Orozco, who was a single mother. He went to church with her weekly. Both girlfriends had children whom Garavito raised. But when he was drunk, he became aggressive, jealous, and controlling, which caused him to be repeatedly expelled. In the 1970s, Garavito suffered from psychosis, paranoia, and depression. He became addicted to abusing children, especially pubescent boys. He had suicidal thoughts because he was troubled by his failures and sexual problems. In 1978, he joined Alcoholics Anonymous and converted to Pentecostalism. He worked as a clerk and met Luz Mary. He lived away from his family, close only to his elder sister Esther. But because of alcohol, she also became distant. He quarreled with his younger siblings. In the 1980s, he moved to Armenia and worked in a bakery. He went to church, Alcoholics Anonymous, and psychiatrists. At the end of the day, he went to Valencia Park looking for children. After fighting with colleagues, he was fired and attempted suicide. In the spring of 1980, he was admitted to San Juan de Dios Hospital, where he said that his life was nothing. He was treated for depression. Although there were symptoms of psychosis and bulimia, he was given antipsychotic drugs. He told doctors that he wanted children, who then explained that he wanted to start a family. In his life, addiction, job instability, and the habit of sexual harassment increased. In the 1980s, Colombia was plagued by political violence and poverty, which further isolated such individuals. Garavito's psychological state led him down a dangerous path. Garavito's crimes began in the early 1990s. Continuing from 1992 to 1999, he targeted poor families, or street children, whose disappearances often went unnoticed. He lured them with money, food, or promises of work. His appearance was ordinary, which made him seem harmless, so he was called Tribilín, resembling Disney's Goofy character. His modus operandi was always the same. He went to villages or cities, lured children, took them to deserted places, where he abused them, assaulted them, and then killed them. The bodies were often mutilated and he hid them. He committed crimes in Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela. He confessed to more than 190 murders, but authorities confirmed 138, and it is estimated that the total number could exceed 300. His victims were boys between 6 and 16 years old from poor areas. At that time in Colombia, the rate of missing children was high because the country was afflicted by guerrilla war and the drug war. Garavito took advantage of this chaos. He often disguised himself as a beggar, a disabled man, or a monk. Once he told a boy that he would give him a job, then took him into the forest. There he tied him up, tortured him, and slit his throat. The details of the crimes are horrifying. He dismembered children, separated their limbs, and sometimes buried them alive. In his diaries, maps and notes were found, showing the planning of his crimes. These crimes terrified Colombian communities, where the number of missing children kept rising and mass graves were being discovered. In that decade, the disappearance of children and the discovery of bodies in Colombia triggered investigations. In 1997, the discovery of 25 bodies near Pereira captured national attention. DNA tests in the 1990s revealed that the same man was behind the killings. In 1999, Garavito was finally arrested after a surviving boy described him. At the time, he was disguised as a beggar. After his arrest, Garavito cooperated with the police, leading them to the burial sites. Evidence from his diaries and belongings confirmed his crimes. He confessed to more than 140 murders. Investigations revealed that he had been traveling for years, committing crimes across different regions. In 2001, Garavito was sentenced to 153 years in prison, but under Colombian law, the maximum was 40 years. Due to his cooperation, it was reduced to 22 years. In prison, he painted, read the Bible, and received psychiatric treatment. In prison, Garavito developed leukemia. He died on October 12, 2023, at the age of 66. His death sparked debate in Colombia about whether justice had truly been served. Garavito's story highlights the issues of child protection, poverty, and violence. It serves as a warning that society must be prepared to deal with such criminals.